for daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings NBA playoff slate for Tuesday, August 25th. It's only a 2-game slate, so this video is going to be quick. There's not really a whole bunch of crazy analysis to have other than leave salary on the table, expect ties. I wouldn't overplay these because if your chalk lineups, if you invest too much in the chalk lineups tie, you could be still having a hard time making some profit back. So I like to throw a couple out there and try to do something different. That's the key in these is the one guy who's 4% owned goes off, and that's kind of what you want to do in these. You want to be different. If you use all your salary tomorrow, 100% guarantee someone is going to be tied with you. First things first, a big cheers to you all. Thank you all so much for all your support. I appreciate all the kind words. I appreciate you liking the video. That helps the channel more than you know. Leaving a comment in the comment section, all that stuff is fantastic. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Hit that subscribe button down below. Really appreciate that. Get all of our content. NFL content is right around the corner. Just got all those, the player pools up and everything started on Draft Dashboard here. I'll have a fantasy football league draft kit up on here in a few days as well. I'm also doing live shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays over at sportsbookreview.com. You can check out Sportsbook Review on YouTube and check out our NFC South breakdown today. I really appreciate that. And we'll do more giveaways for those of you who are going over and doing that. Also, by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. So just lots of stuff going on. WNBA, they don't even have the prices up yet as I'm recording this for DraftKings, so I don't know if Dion and I will get to that tonight. So that is that. Also, don't forget to check out Overlay DFS. Have a lot of fun over there. That's probably where I'm going to have my most fun tomorrow because I don't have to worry about all the ties and everything. So Overlay DFS is a lot of fun. Go to overlaydfs.com. Hit them up on Twitter. Ask them about their first deposit bonus, their bad beat jackpot bonus if you play a jackpot tournament. Can't remember how many times in a row and you don't cash, you get your entry fees back. If you go 0-12, you win. Sometimes they have contests up there. If you beat my score, you win a bonus. So lots of cool stuff there. Be sure to check that out as well. And I think that is everything. As usual, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. As soon as I know anything important for tomorrow's slate, it will be up there on my Twitter feed. Same for NFL, everything else. Also, if you want access to my player pool, the projections, cheat sheet, you want to use it in the lineup optimizer tomorrow, find out a lot of great stats, history versus opponent, usage rates, what they've been doing in the series, price on both sites, percentage of the time they hit value at that price tag. You can click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard right now, 30 days for $1. Or do you have a preliminary NFL player pool set? Of course, there's a long way to go before any of that is settled. NHL player pools every day, Major League Baseball, great research tools, batter versus pitcher, pitcher versus batter, etc. Again, you can use the player pool and the optimizers, cash game optimizers as well, lots of stuff, mass lineup generators, lots of stuff you can do there. So let's go over the point guards real quick. Of course, Jamal Murray and Mike Conley are in play. We've seen the upside for Jamal Murray. Now, he's also got the scarier floor. He's going to be high owned tomorrow. So is Mike Conley because you see the drop-off. So you got Murray at 7-8 and 8K. It's a big price tag for him, coming off a huge game. Then you've got Conley at 6'5 and 6'7. He's been really good since coming back into the bubble and playing at 39 and a 36 in the last 2 games. Should be, hopefully, this is really the only series in danger of not, this one and now the Lakers-Blazers one on Kobe Day. Shout out to my boy Kobe. It's hard seeing all the tributes today. I felt good about my Lakers. I knew LeBron was going to come out fired up on Kobe Day, so that's a big 3-1 series lead. Obviously, Denver-Utah's 3-1, and we got Dallas-Clippers 2-2, so it's a must-win for Denver. It's a must-win for both Dallas and the Clippers, and of course, Utah would like to close us out. They're not going to take their foot off the gas pedal, but they're the one team, I guess, who, if they start getting their ass kicked, it's not the biggest deal. They still have the series lead. and 2 more games to play. They only need to win 1 more time. So just a different set of emotional circumstances. So, of course, Murray and Conley are in play. Seth Curry I like a lot. 4.8 on FanDuel, 4.6 on DraftKings. He's going to play 30 minutes. They need his shooting. If he gets hot, especially if Luka's ankle, look, I know Luka went off, and it was spectacular to watch. But he's definitely hurt. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he leaves that game injured again, even though, I mean, that kid looks tough, and it was fantastic. So a guy like Seth Curry I like for tournaments. Same with Trey Burke at 4.4 and 4.5. Trey Burke is much more risky, obviously, because he could play 15 minutes or he could play, he got more minutes the last game because they were without Porzingis. They got down early. He started shooting the ball well. He's a tournament play, but I like Trey Burke quite a bit. Reggie Jackson. Patrick Beverley is doubtful. Unlikely that he plays. Reggie Jackson, again, he could play 17 minutes and get you a 7, or he could play 27 minutes and get you a 25. He's 3.7 on DraftKings. I think he's one of the lower owned guys. It's probably going to be bumped up because of that last game's performance. And then, the only other 2 guards you're considering are Shamet and Monty Morris. Again, they're salary savers with scary low floors, single-digit floors, a 5 and a 6 respectively they've both gotten in their respective series. But they've also got some, 20-point upside, 25-point upside. So they're, and you're going to want to be different. There's no one else at point guard. Let's go to shooting guard. Of course, Luka. I mean, my goodness, he's 11K on both sides. I mean, just out of this world. No, he's not going to get 85 every night, but that was spectacular. Donovan Mitchell's going to be very popular, his second 50-point game of the series. You can see the other 2 fantasy games, 32, 43. So he's had 2 monster games in this series. And he's had 2, mediocre games in this series. He's 9.7 on DraftKings. That's a massive, massive price for Donovan Mitchell. You can see the hit percentages over here on Draft Dashboard. Tells you what percentage of the time they would hit 5 times value. And someone brought this up, and it is a good point. 5 times value used to be the standard, like you do really well. But if a player gets 5 times value, they're not ruining your lineup as opposed to lower than that. But you are right. Nowadays, with how sharp the players have been, the scoring's up. You need 6, 7x. But if you play a guy at 8.5 and he gets you 43, you're not disappointed. You're okay with that. So that's why the 5 times value benchmark. And he would only have hit that priced at 9.7 on DraftKings 23% of the time. Paul George has been less than spectacular. Playoff P, of course. I'm going to bag on him a little bit here because it's funny that, I was just telling my buddy, he's just not good in the postseason. So if I bag on him a little here, that means he'll probably go off tomorrow. And so I'm going to have plenty of Paul George. I think his ownership will come down a little bit just because, he just hasn't been great in the series. 37, 30, 36, and 24 is not getting it done. He's 7.5 FanDuel, 8.2 DraftKings. Lou Williams' price jumped up to 6.2 and 6.4. He got hot off the bench, and that's fantastic. He's done it 2 of the last 3 games. So he's basically got 2 great games where he's smashing value, including a 49, and the other 2 games in the 20s. He plays a lot of minutes. It's always nerve-wracking at first just because he comes off the bench, and if he doesn't get rolling early, it can be a low-scoring first half, and you need a lot in the second half. And that's kind of the same with Jordan Clarkson. He's not playing the huge minutes now that Conley's back, but he's still playing, the high 20s. Nothing less than a 25 in this series. He's 5.1 and 5.2. You could go there. And then that's it. I guess Torrey Craig will see some minutes if you want to play a guy that gets a 4 in 18 minutes, a 5 in 27 minutes, a 10. He's been pretty bad. There is an outside chance that Gary Harris returns tomorrow. Now, he hasn't played at all since the restart. He's their best perimeter defender, but how much could you possibly get from him? If he does play, it's rushing them back in panic mode because they need somebody who can defend Donovan Mitchell. So we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, I'll be surprised if he plays, and if he does play, there's no way he comes out there in this first game back and plays 35, 40 minutes. So it's an iffy. Look, if he's announced active and you're playing multiple lineups and you're trying to be different, there's a way that you could go. Kawhi Leonard, 10.4 on FanDuel, 10K on DraftKings. He's been huge in this series. I expect him to be extremely motivated tomorrow. He's been great in the series. I like Kawhi, of course. Tim Hardaway Jr., yep. He has not shown those inconsistent tendencies so far in this series. He's been a great source of scoring, hitting his threes, defending fairly well for Tim Hardaway Jr. Nothing less than a 27. He's 5'6 and 5'8. Finney Smith, the minutes will be there. We've seen kind of the upside the last couple games at 27 and a 31. Just know he does have that floor that can scare you a little bit. You remember, what was it, game 2 and 19? At 5-2 and 4-8, he's starting to get priced up a little bit. Joe Ingles' price went down because he played 34 minutes and didn't do shit. He got a 6. I actually like that. Remember, Donovan Mitchell was just going absolutely ham, so there's no reason for Joe Ingles to do anything. They were just getting out of Donovan Mitchell's way. Things change a little bit. Joe Ingles is going to have some lower ownership. He's got the upside. He's still going to play the minutes if the game's competitive. So I think Joe Ingles is an interesting tournament play. Then there's no other small forwards that you want to even consider. Power forward, Kristaps Porzingis, 9.6 Fanduel, 9.1 DraftKings. Of all the super high expensive players, the 8Ks and above, I do think that he'll be the lowest owned of the entire group. Now, we have to see if he plays. Again, I'll have it up on Twitter as soon as we know. I would imagine he would. It was just soreness. I was really surprised that he sat. I think everyone was. We all found out after lock, obviously. But I'll take the low ownership and the upside. Again, it's a 2-game slate, so try to do something different. Michael Porter Jr. Here's another guy who's going to be super low owned. His price has come down to 5.5 and 5.7. He's not getting a ton of minutes. He's now, his defense just hasn't been there. But if he gets hot, we've seen it in this series. What was it? Game 2, he put up a 38. Game 1 at 26. Now that he's at 5.5 and 5.7, there's some tournament low ownership upside there just because you're trying to be different. Can he certainly go out and play 15 minutes and get an 11? Absolutely. But he could also play 25 minutes and get like a 30 if he gets a shooting stroke going in a must-win for Denver. I think it's something interesting to watch. They did take him out of the starting lineup, so he's coming off the bench now, but a low-owned tournament guy if you're trying to be different and playing multiple lineups. Marcus Morris will be in a ton of lineups, and he should be. He's just fine. Paul Millsap, he made me some money yesterday. I liked Millsap. He got me at 35. I like Millsap again. I like his price tag. Maxi Kleber, scary player to play. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to play over 30. But, in 35 minutes, he can get you a 12, or in 37 minutes, he can get you a 27. He's 4.9 Fanduel. I don't love that. I like it a lot more on DraftKings at 4.2, especially if he makes a couple of threes. Jeremy Grant, yeah, he's starting. He hasn't been great, but we do know he's got some upside at 4.8 and 4.7. You'll have exposure there. Royce O'Neal will be a lower owned guy because he's had 3 duds really in the series, only one game, but that one game he put up at 38. So if you can catch him on that night, good things can happen. So it's a lower owned tournament option too. And then if you're looking for some cheap, if you're playing 150 lineups, 100 lineups, and you're looking just for some guys to sprinkle in, maybe the game's a blowout, or just, they'll see a few minutes and their salary relief is enough to maybe allow you to play elsewhere. You're just trying to be different. I suppose you could sprinkle in a little bit of JaMychal Green and George Niang, but I wouldn't be over anxious to do that. Let's go to centers. Jokic, of course, is in play. Now, again, we were waiting for that big 60-point outburst from him. It hasn't really come. There you go. That's what she said, right? Right, fellas? There we go. Or after they break up, they definitely say that. So, I say just lie to me, and lie to me before and after and during. Who cares? Anyways, I digress. Jokic at 9.2 and 9.4 is in play simply because it's a 2-game slate, and if he's the highest scoring player on the slate, that's what you want. He and Gobert both in play. I like them both. I like the price for Gobert a lot at 7.6. Montrez still isn't back into form yet. I'll still take a shot if I'm making multiple lineups at 4.1 on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'll just take Zubats. Even, if they're playing the same amount of minutes, Zubats just plays well against his team. Shot blocking upside, rebounding. 4.6 and 4.3, I could go there. If you're looking for a cheap option, there's a couple of them. If you're trying to sprinkle them in and you just never know, especially if Porzingis is out. Boban, you can release the Boban at 4.2 and 3.8. Mason Plumlee, if you hate your life, and Tony Bradley, again, you're digging way deep. Those are only things you're going to do and sprinkle in a couple lineups if you're playing 150 line. If you're playing single entries or whatever, you're not, or cash games, you're not playing those guys. So that's our look at the 2-game slate. Remember, most important thing, if you're playing in those bigger tournaments and you got to have the risk tolerance for this. Sure, let's say you're making 2 lineups. Make one that's super chalky, use up as much salary as you want, and hope that it ties with everyone else and you still make a nice profit, a few $100, depending on how many people tie. But if you're trying to be different, first things first, leave salary on the table. And a 2-game slate, the more the better. You don't have to get crazy, but If you leave like 1,000 or 1,200 on the table, if your lineup ends up being the best lineup, you're going to be tied with a lot fewer people, if any, and have a chance at really making the big money. Again, if you want access to my player pool, all the research tools, etc., the cheat sheet we set for all the sports, NFL, NBA, NHL, and baseball, click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard 30 days for $1. When you do, how you would compare my watched players to yours, you'll have a watched players tab. Those are the players that you're marking off, that you're watching, that you want included in your optimizers, etc. You'll click on that watch players button over here on the left, or if you have your screen zoomed in, you don't see this menu here. There's the 3 bars over here in the top left. Remember, you swap between DraftKings and Fanduel over here at the top right. And then if you've used that link, you'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks, as well as a timestamp when we last updated it. Then you can go over here, click the lineup optimizer. You can go to the mass lineup generator. If there's a late scratch, you get it in time. You can upload your lineups from Fanduel or DraftKings, optimize them in the late swap optimizer, and re-upload them in. And then you just start messing around and making lineups. You can do GPPs, cash games, etc. Remember, click the link, try it for 30 days for $1. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you all so much. Again, it's just overwhelming. Don't forget to go over Sportsbook Review, SBR, on YouTube, sportsbookreview.com. Great source for breaking down all the odds. You can see the lines for every major book. If you're betting, we're getting ready for the NFL season. We've broken down now 3 of the 4 divisions in the NFC. We'll be breaking down the NFC West live Wednesday afternoon, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. NFC South was today. If you want to hear our thoughts on the Saints, Bucks, Falcons, and Panthers, I appreciate all of that and all the support and all the kind words there. Don't forget to check out Overlay DFS as well. Thank you all again so much. May the fantasy gods be with you all tomorrow. Goodbye, folks.